So, welcome everyone. I'm Monica, and today we'll be exploring a bit on what's really home for us, what's our true home. And before I begin to blabber a bit, I would like to uh, request you all to participate in this discussion or exploration also. And please share, unmute yourself and share, or share in the chat window why are we here today and what resonated, if anything, in the topic. Yeah, I'd like to invite you all to share. Yes, yes.
Hi, Monica.
Yes, Preeti, hi.
We are waiting for others, right?
No, we've started, and I've just requested everyone to share what resonated and why are we here today.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be waiting actually. I'll not start before we begin to share because it's important that it's our discussion. It's not only a monologue because it should start from where we are right now.
I think for me, like this topic, our true home, it's like where we are. We tell ourselves that that is where our home is. Like we don't, this is not even a question that we have in our everyday life that this is not a home or this is not the truth. That like wherever I am feels like that is it, this is it. So this is like kind of just raises this question that is there something other than where I am right now? So
Yeah, yeah, yes. Okay, so Ramaji is sharing. I'm realizing that there is an innate need in me to understand my center, my home, where I feel fulfilled. I mean, in my inner space, not feel short but complete, looking for meaning, and I'm going to be okay. Yeah, yes. So please share, yes, rest of you also, whatever is coming to you, there is nothing wrong, nothing right, even if it deviates a little from the topic, it's a topic of our life. Nothing can be, short of that. Just share. Yeah.
For me, it was when I turned 50. I don't know why I said this dialogue to myself that I don't have a home.
Mm-hmm.
25 years I was with my parents, then the next 25 years at my in-laws' house, but I didn't have a home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, Preeti. Yeah. So Nipa ji is sharing, I feel that when I connect with my breath, I feel at home. Nishu ji is sharing, I have an inner call via pain to go within, to go home. I once used to know a place of shanti and no expectations from others or self. Yashoji is sharing, I have felt a sense of unease no matter where I am, with whom I am. Even when at times I felt I had finally reached home, it wasn't so. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yes. There is this, yeah. Yes, Aradhana ji, please.
Yeah, I think, Monica, I think everybody somewhere deep inside know that whatever we call home, these four boundaries where we usually live, it is temporary. The actual home is somewhere else. And we know where is that home. And then I think time and again, minute by minute, we forget. And so it is just a reminder by coming in this session that yes, the world we are living in, the boundaries we are living in is a home, but not the actual home. And we all know what is that home, where is that home, how to go there, how to station yourself there. If not 24/7, at least most of the time. Yeah.
I would question this actually, Aradhana ji. I would question this that we say that we know where our true home is. I think that is where I would start to begin with. Okay. I think, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jasmine ji is sharing, seeking some inner peace. Don't have much to say. Yes. Wanted to connect. Yes. Thank you. So we think that we know where our home is, true home, where we really feel at rest. You know, what we call as home is a place of comfort, a place where we feel like, you know, warm, a place where we feel maybe, you know, not threatened all the time, a place where we feel like ourselves. I am who I am, you know, there is no pretense needed. I can be naked in my home, right? That is what we call home. That brings me home. You know, whenever we say, oh, I feel home, means that I don't need to pretend anything. I don't need to show anything off. And when Aradhana ji was sharing that all of us know where our home is, I would like to question it. I would like to actually question it. If we really knew, would we feel abandoned? Would we feel lost? And yet, having said that, right now, wherever we are, in whatever feeling space we are, we may be going through pain, we may be going through a bit of suffering, we may be going through anger, rage against someone, we may be going through a numbness, or maybe a feeling of being lost. Right now, wherever we are, that if we be there, if we are allowing ourselves to be there completely, fully, that has a clue. That has a clue. There is nothing, no concept is needed. No mental past, mental future is needed. No Mahatma is needed right now. There is such a big clue that we have. If I allow myself to immerse deeply, intensely in whatever is going on within me, whatever I am going through within me right now, that has a clue, that has a direction. So I would request all of you to just be fully with the state that you are right now. If it's don't even try to label that state. Why to label it as sadness or pain? It's just the mind which keeps on trying to divide and makes distinctions. Whether it's a feeling of being broken, a feeling of being lost, abandoned, allow yourself to be fully with that feeling, not wanting to shoo it away. There is no other space called home. You are not missing anything. We never were missing anything. Allow yourself fully to drench in the present state of your being. Remove the rights and wrongs, the labels around those feelings. I shouldn't be here, all that. If you shouldn't be here, then why are you here? There must be some reason to it. And when we are fully drenched, soaking wet in whatever raw experience I am going through, I am home. I did not lose it. I never lost it. Kabir says in his own words, जिन खोजा तिन पाइयां गहरे पानी पैठ मैं बपुरा बूढ़न डरा रहा किनारे बैठ. जिसने खोजना था उसने कहां पाया? गहरे पानी पैठ. In the middle of whatever is going, not trying to run away from it. Any so-called ugly life experience, so-called, anti-ethical life experience. In the middle of it, if you wake up, allow space for that experience to be. That brings you home, which we never lost. जिन खोजा तिन पाइयां गहरे पानी पैठ मैं बपुरा बूढ़न डरा. क्यों डूबने से डरा मैं? क्योंकि मैंने पाठ पढ़ा हुआ था. I was taught this is right, this feeling is right, this feeling is bad. You are not allowed to think that way. You are not allowed to think that way. And so what I did was I kept on resisting all the experiences that came to me as visitors, as clues for my home. Pain, sadness, feeling of abandonment. Oh, these are not allowed because this would feel, this would make me feel that I am less enlightened. There is something wrong with me if I am feeling abandoned. There is something wrong with me if I am feeling angry. In the middle of anger, can I be present to the anger fully, what it is there for? And not try to shoo it away, neither wanting to cling to anger also. Imagine there is a door open and you are sitting in the room. A child comes knocking at the door. He peeps out of the door a bit, it's a little open. And this child is what we can call each and every experience or feeling or thought that I go through in a day or night. And that child is standing at the door wanting for me to allow. And what I do is, the moment I see any feeling which my mind labels as not allowed, I slam the door on the child. I said, no, you cannot be here. Because if you are here, then I would feel less worthy. And I don't want to feel less worthy. Because I have learned my lessons that if this feeling comes, it is not allowed. Because it means I am something menial, I am something trivial, and I don't want to be trivial. So go away. We slam the door on any experience that we label as not allowed. So the child is wanting to be there in that space. It is just wanting a bit of space. And I just shoo it away. And then I feel, why am I feeling lost? So can I just deeply drench myself into whatever I am going through right now? Because that is the hint. That is a channel, that is a conduit that I keep on resisting forever in my life. If it makes me feel unworthy, allowing that feeling of unworthiness to be there. As if you are this vast space in which everything is allowed. And when I allow myself to be fully in this feeling of being abandoned, being lost, not trying to resist it, not trying to label it, something happens. It's only for all of us to know that thing. It's not for me to talk about that thing. Allowing the grief to be there. Yes, I have lost a loved one. And it feels as if a piece has been taken away from me. Yes, I am here. Yet I am there. Even after a part of me is lost, so-called a part of me is lost, yet I am still there. So I can be with that grief. And grief, I would say, sadness, grief, they take us to deeper and deeper grace. They have so much of power, so much of intensity, because the sharpness, the sharp edge that they have, it's rare. So allowing myself in whatever state of being I am, I see that I am home. Yes, they just bring me, they make me feel more alive. There is so much that is happening within my being. Can I become suddenly aware of all that? Yes, thoughts are coming. And they are allowed to. Yes, feelings are there and they are fully allowed. I never lost home. They never lost home. They have a home. They can be here. And then something happens that I don't need to go anywhere. So that I find that, oh, I finally am home. There is no external movement then becomes necessary to say that, yes, now I have reached home. Because the home was ever present. I was trying to shoo it away. By shooing away, by slamming that door on the child, which came in a disguise of an experience, of a raw, naked experience. Each and every moment of my life has the capacity to give me a taste of my true home. Each and every moment, no matter how ugly it may seem. So can I allow this magic to happen? Because we have read too much. Pothi pad pad jag mua, Kabir says. We have read too much. We have taken all those definitions upon ourselves. And we don't even realize that we live day-to-day life based on those labels and images. Yes, this is good feeling. This is a bad feeling. Oh my God, why am I having this bad feeling? Oh, I must not be having this bad feeling. Why? Can I stop? Can I pause in the middle of all this? Because each bad feeling is so-called bad feeling, has a purpose. Otherwise, why would it be born? The more I negate my experiences, the more I say to myself that I am somewhere, but I should be somewhere else. The more as if I live in a dream where I am lost. And it's only a dream. And what do we do when we feel lost in a dream? We don't begin to have another dream. about finding home. Not at all. We just wake up. We just become aware of what is happening within me, what is presented by the universe to me in this very moment. And then all the philosophy, all the spiritual philosophy somehow becomes alive. I did not do anything to make it alive. I did not do any effort. I just, in my nakedness, in my vulnerability, I became available to everything that was happening to me right now. What can be more simple than this? Yet, we make it so complicated owing to the fact that we have so many concepts running in our mind, running our life. So can I also become aware of this play of concepts running my life? Can I become deeply, deeply comfortable in the discomfort that I'm going through right now? Not saying to the discomfort, go away, shoo away. I don't need you. You make me feel unworthy. I don't need you. No need for that. There is no need to fight with our own shadow. Where would it go? It needs a place. And the moment I allow myself to be comfortable in this sense of discomfort, something changes. It's nothing big and complicated that I do, yet something changes. I just paused for a moment, as if I was running somewhere, wanting to fulfill myself. I just paused in the middle of this game of running, nothing doing. No future can give me this magic that I can have right now. So then I wonder, then I ask myself, did I actually ever lost my home? And even if I feel at times that I lose it, can I be completely with that feeling of what it feels to have lost it? Because then that becomes the way. How do I feel when I feel abandoned and lost in this dangerous, treacherous world? How do I feel? There comes the way. Where do I have to go? Nowhere. And why do I feel that I'm not home yet? Because I'm still resisting so much. I'm resisting the aliveness of each moment. And then I wonder, why do I not feel home? Even in my own home, I feel that something is still missing. I still have to pretend. Each and every next moment gives me the clue. It's really so beautiful. The moment I feel that something is missing, can I now be with this feeling of what it feels when something is missing? Because then that becomes the clue. So intricately designed. As if someone is holding my hand at each second. I just have to become aware. Each and every moment has the clue. I never lost anything. I can never lose anything. And even when I feel that I have lost, can I be fully with the feeling of losing something. How does it feel? Again, opening myself for a magic to happen. And one can even get lost here actually. I can just, in waiting for the magic to happen, what I do is I don't even allow myself to be fully there. Because a half part of me would be waiting. Oh my God, I heard somewhere, because the mind is so tricky. It would make anything as a concept. So even this that we talk today about being fully with whatever is, that can become a concept on the mind. And the next time something is happening, the mind would wait for the magic to happen. It's really amazing how clever the mind is. And then again, I'll get a chance. So can I become aware to what is this waiting for magic? Can I allow that to be fully there? Not wanting to resist the waiting. Not wanting to shoo away the waiting. Go away. Let the thing come. Waiting, go away. Enough of waiting. Not there at all. There is something really beautiful about the rawness of little children, which we all just get awestruck at. We cannot express it in words. The more we express, the more fool we make of ourselves. There is something very, very raw and naked and unique about little newborns, infants. They are so naked, they are shamelessly themselves, not wanting to hide anything at any moment. And it's us adults, we slowly tell them how to hide. No wonder that as adults, we feel that we have lost our way back home. What blunders we do on a little child. We tell them, oh, this is not right to do in front of public, you have to hide this. Why are you feeling that way? It's not a right feeling to have. While instead of that, if I become myself more available to my experiences, I'll be available also to allow anyone, whether it's a child or an adult, to fully go through, fully be aware of whatever is happening. Because these are here for us to taste. Anger has a different taste, jealousy a different one, sadness even a different one. I would say even there is a sweet sadness also. There is something really sweet if one really goes to the depths of sadness. There is something sweet there. So can we allow all these colors of life to be there? Then I suddenly see that I just don't feel the need to go anywhere. There is so much of richness right now. There is nothing to let go of. Because why would I let go when I'm not wanting to shoo away anything? And the true home is wherever I am. Then I'm not waiting to be somewhere to feel that, yes, now I feel home. It's like a mobile true home. Wherever you go, there it is. Yes. Yeah. Please keep sharing your thoughts in between. I'll keep on taking them. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Aradhana. Yes, Nishu. Yeah. Yes. See, the mind plays a very tricky game. It says, this is bad, this is good. So the good is allowed and the bad is not. And when the bad experiences, so-called, we find ourselves drenched in, which happens more often than the good experiences, we then try to let go of these experiences. So the same mind that created the misery of division of the good and bad, now the trick is that the same mind wants to let go. How can this be? How can this be? It's again a cleverness of the mind. So can I become available to this cleverness that yes, this is happening? And can I also become aware where is the need to demarcate good and bad? Can I take it all in a flow of life? Just like a river flows. Does it distinguish that this is the pebble and pebble is not a part of river? Does it distinguish that you are sand and silt and you are not part of river? Because if not for all those parts, what is a river after all? A river is the weeds present in the river. A river is the water present in the river. A river is the air around the river. A river is someone putting feet inside the river. Where does the river end and where does the river start? And there lies also a clue to our misery. Because when I just allow this mind to go as if run around in a dream and not become aware to its movements, I see that as if concepts are living my life, divisions are living my life. And yet at each moment of my life, I have this choice to become aware. No matter whether I am in a drain or a river, no matter whether I am in a forest or my home, the moment I become aware, I allow a space for magic to unfold, for a newness to unfold, for a never-ending wait to end and a life to begin. Because life is forever. Life is happening at each moment. Am I available to life? Or am I in a dream of concepts and labels and definitions? And especially these, more so these spiritual definitions, they hold us up to so tight. We make these enclosures in our life, and it's so miserable to live in enclosures. And Kabir says, कबीरा खड़ा बाजार में लिए लुकाटी हाथ, जो घर जा रे आपना चले हमारे साथ, घर जा रे घर उपजे, घर राखे घर जाए, एक अचंभो जो वियो मड़ो काल ने खाए. So Kabir says, I have seen this really and a very intriguing thing. And what is the thing that Kabir has seen? He says, if you keep home, if you try to keep tight hold on your home, our concepts, our identities, our comfort zones, he says, I see that the more tight a hold we keep, I lose my home. As if there is a dream going on, I lose my home. And the more I allow myself to be in this ever changing movement of life, ghar jare ghar ubhre, the moment I allow myself to burn the boundaries that I make every moment, in that I find my true home. Ghar jare ghar ubhre. The moment you burn your house, the moment you burn the house, you feel that's a house. A true home appears. All the comfort zones the mind wants to be settled in, if I allow them to change throughout as and when necessary, then something happens, then the magic happens. When I allow myself to be so comfortable in the discomfort, in the unease, now it appears so paradoxical that I am at ease with my unease. How can this be? Imagine there is an ant in the room, a little spider on the wall, or maybe a lizard, and yet I am in the room. The lizard is allowed, the spider is allowed. The spider, the ant, the lizard, the unseen insects are all allowed. I am easy with all so-called unease because I am not them. And so everything is allowed and alive. Suddenly this running stops and I find that I'm not running anywhere. I was running for many, many years and I may run again. Yet I will know that in any moment of my life, in the middle of fear, in the middle of any anxiety and panic, I will always have this opportunity to be completely drenched and be aware of what fear feels like. What is this anxiety? What does it feel like? And then I would not find myself running away from fear or panic or anxiety or loneliness. Isn't this so beautifully alive? We are so alive. I don't understand many a times why do we want to make ourselves dead by defining ourselves? Because once I define a table, a tree is vibrantly alive. But yet, if I cut a piece out of a tree and make it into a table and define it, I put a limit to its aliveness. A tree is vibrantly alive. A tree, I don't even know where a tree stops and where the air begins. I don't even know where the roots stop and where the soil begins. They are so intricately intermingled with each other, so vibrantly alive. The ants on the tree, the aphids on the tree leaves, the owl which is nested in the tree, is that not a part of tree? So all these feelings, the negative feelings, the positive feelings, the ugliness, the mess of life, is this not life? Is life just concepts? Dead concepts, which I do not feel any resonance with. And yet I see the moment I allow myself to be fully drenched in whatever experience life is presenting to me, I see that there is an aliveness in me. I am not wanting to be anywhere else than this raw experience. And I feel suddenly a feeling of gratitude comes. Thank God for this home, which forever is and which forever can be, no matter how many dreams I may have of losing it. It is unconditionally mine. The home does not depend on a condition. The home does not say, hey, when you are dreaming, I will be shooing away from you. Not like that. The home says you are allowed to dream. You come back wherever you want to, whenever you want to. So the home, the true home that we all crave for, is present in the very craving itself. Only what is needed is to become vibrantly alive to the very craving, how it feels to crave. There is nothing lost. Kabir says, Ansamjha hari dur batave, samjha saath kahe lo hai. Kabir says, one who has not really found it would tell you methods to find it. He would say, yes, you have lost it, and go in search of it. These many years you will take. Ansamjha hari dur batave, समझा साथ कहे लो है. और जिसको खुद मिल गया है, जिसने खुद उसका टेस्ट कर लिया है, one who already knows that the true home can never be lost, he would not ask you to go and find it. He would say, wake up. It's just a dream. Nobody and no experience can take our home away from us, because we are the home. I am the home. I am the home in which all is welcome. All the feelings of uneasiness and easiness are welcome. The burdens are welcome for as long as they want to stay. And the lightness is welcome too. And gratitude is welcome. And many a times when I'm not able to feel grateful is also welcome. Because I am home. I never went away. It was just a dream. It can be another dream. Yet when I fall miserably into another dream, and it's okay, it's allowed too. Who wants a life to be a monotone? Don't we want colors in life? Don't we want, look at our festivals, so bright, full of colors. What is life demanding out of those festivals? The life demands brightness. The life demands colorful richness. And I see when I become available to my own alive experiences, I see, oh my God, a plenty of richness is available to me. And each experience comes with its own fragrance. And the moment I allow to get drenched in one particular experience, for example, hate, sadness, grief, the moment I allow myself to go to the depths of this experience, I see that I connect with others around going through the same experience. If I have lost a loved one, and if I have allowed myself to be soaked and drenched in the grief and touch the base with grief, that somehow acts as a conduit to the other person who is now going through grief. Isn't this beautiful? All the experiences, if we go and allow touching their depths, they have the capacity to connect oneself with more of others. At the moment, we know others only very surface, it's like a very shallow experiences of others that we have. And it's really interesting because we ourselves are so surface in touch with our surfaces. No wonder that I do not deeply understand the other. So each and every experience that I go through allows me, if I allow myself to drench in that experience, not to shoo it away, it allows me to have a deeper connect with others. It universalizes me. It creates a sense of oneness with the other. How would I understand others' pain if I myself am trying to shoo away my pain? How would I understand what the other goes through when in jealousy, when I have myself not my jealousy ever, met my jealousy ever? So all these experiences that come to me, that come home to me, can I not slam the door on them? Because they are my conduits for a universality. My disease, my sickness, my illness, my anxiety, my fear about myself, all when that is allowed, it allows me to touch the other deeply when the other is going through that. Can I allow this magic to unfold? Yes. Yes. I'm taking a pause for a moment, and in the moment, if anything comes up, please share. Yeah. Kabir says again, जो तिलमाही आग है, जो चकमक में, जो तिलमाही तेल है, जो चकमक में आग, तेरा साईं तुझ में है, तो जाग सके तो जाग. So the only thing that is asked of us is to just wake up. And there is no spirituality, some mysticism about that waking up. It's very simple, this waking up. Can I be available to whatever I am going through right now? Can I wake up to my experience right now? Can I become a witness, an aware presence of each and every happening and movement in my life, no matter how scary it may seem? Then suddenly I see that this running stops. And life becomes my own teacher. Each movement of life, each moment of life becomes my teacher. If only I can open my eyes and ear to what it brings to me, a gift. It brings to me a gift each time. Yet I am so stubborn. I keep on resisting that gift and ask life for other gifts, and wait, keep a lifelong wait for those gifts. Because someone has told me that jealousy is not a gift. Someone has told me anger is bad, it's not a gift. Someone has told me abandonment is not a gift. And I have internalized all that. Someone has told me that feeling lost is not a gift. And I have internalized all that. So I don't even question, I don't even interrogate like a scientist. I say, okay, you may have said, but let me find it out myself. Because I have my own understanding also. I have my own eyes and vision and awareness also. Can I look deeply into this? What is the state of feeling lost? And is it really not allowed? What is the state of loneliness? What happens when I allow loneliness to be there? What happens when I allow so-called unenlightenment to be there? Can we take the charge of investigating our life deeply, being with our life deeply in our own hands? Not take second-hand concepts from anywhere. Even what I speak today. Can we, as we say it in Hindi, can we parakho it, parak, uski parakh karna, jaanch padtal karna. Can I investigate it deeply? Is it true for myself what Monica was saying? Because before I understand its truth for my own self, I would not just add it in my mind as a baggage and understand as a concept. Concepts, I have enough. I don't want another yet concept, in my life. It makes me heavy. And then we see that the moment I allow each and every experience in my life to fully go in the depths and wideness of that experience, no matter what name I may give it, I may give it a sense of loss, I may give it a sense of pain, I may give it a sense of abandonment, I may give it a sense of I don't belong here. No matter what name you give it, can we be there fully with that? Touch it, sense it, feel it. Allow kitni depth hai isme, allow kitni wideness hai isme. And then that itself becomes a beautiful adventure. Why would I crave for any other adventure when life at every moment throws at me this beautiful adventure which we call as life? Okay, I have a disease. Interesting. Well, how does it feel like? Okay, this is what we have to be doing. Acha, oh, right. Oh, I feel so anxious when I go through this feeling. Wow. And anxiety gives me pain in the body here and there. Now, can I become alive to it? As if you are having a dialogue with each and every experience in life. That experience has become a friend who is welcome to stay as long as it wants. And yet I am not also clinging to it, that please stay, I cannot live without you. So neither am I clinging to it and neither am I wanting to shoo it away. It's just a welcoming presence. Just a vast, welcoming space that I allow myself. There is nothing to lose. And there is nothing to gain. There is nothing to lose. Because if we feel that we have lost it, it's a dream. I just have to wake up. And there is nothing to gain. Why? Because even when I feel that I have gained an enlightenment, I have gained maybe a new definition of myself, that again is a new dream. I can never be more than who I am, and I can never be less than who I am. The feeling of being less is a dream, and the feeling of being more also is a dream. Yes. So there is nothing that can be lost from us. There is nothing that can be given to us. Yet, time and again, mystics and masters have said, Chet sake to chet, jag sake to jag. Why have they said so? They have said so because if I have a treasure and I live like a beggar, it's as good as I have lost that treasure. So I may have the concept in mind that I may never lose anything, but yet my real life situation is that I live like a beggar. So what is the treasure for if I live like a beggar? And that is why saints and mystics have said, wake up to yourself, wake up to who you are. Each and every raw experience in our life wakes us up, brings a chance to wake us up to that treasure that we are, that we truly are, that can be never taken us away, taken away from us. This is the beauty. And it's sad if we stay away from this beauty all the time. And that is the reason why saints and mystics have time and again shared, जाग सके तो जाग, जब जागो तभी सवेरा. Because there is a treasure. The treasure is this home that I am. The treasure is this deepening presence, the wide space that I am. The treasure is this ever-changing continuity of life that I am. So if I do not wake up to this treasure, it's as good as the treasure is lost. That is the reason why time and again it has been said. And along with that, at each moment we have free will of being aware. No matter if I was unaware and as if life went on a robotic mode so far, right now, whatever space and time I have, can I be available here? Can I be completely drenched and soaked in the raw experiences of my life here right now? That is way back home, which I never went away from. I just have to wake up to my home. As if awareness is having a conversation with grief or sadness, and awareness is talking to sadness, and sadness is saying, oh, I thought I'm not allowed there. But awareness is saying, oh, who told you so? And sadness is saying, but I heard it from everywhere that I was not allowed to stay. And awareness says, I don't know who told you so, but as far as I go, you are welcome. And sadness suddenly feels welcome. It says, oh my God, I felt I had no home. Yes, Nipa, yeah. And awareness says, you are most welcome. And why the need to label as sadness or anger or hatred? Why the need to label as a pebble or a weed or a sand or a silt in the river? A river is a river. A life is a life. Can I become alive to this life? The only reason that we suffer is that we keep on living in our definitions and labels in the mind. And we keep on missing and missing forever this ever-changing continuity of life, the richness of life. And keep on feeling as if something is lost, something is lost, something is lost. And yes, it feels something is lost. And the moment I wake up, I become available to all that is right now. I see that I am home again. So what would I want to do? Would I just keep on again living in the past? Or can I now allow at least myself to become alive for whatever lifespan I may have? It doesn't matter. Because when we enter in the depths of life experiences, we enter as if into a state of timelessness. It's really so paradoxical. So the life experience is happening in time, right? It's happening in time. I have a body in time. Yet, if I allow myself to go deeply, immerse deeply in any experiences in time, I see that I touch a space in timelessness. As if time ceases to exist in that moment. So timelessness, as if it is trapped in time. How paradoxical and beautiful. And then I need not wait for those beautiful futures to come for myself to feel alive. I can be here right now as I am. And I allow myself, the moment I allow myself to be, I allow change to be. I allow transformation to be. I allow newness to be. I allow an unfolding to be. Who doesn't crave for a newness? So friends, it is up to us. Nobody can live my life. I have to live mine. Each one of us has to live theirs. Each moment I have this power of being completely, truly alive to anything that is going in me right now. And that is the passage to eternity. That is the passage towards rest. That is the passage towards an unfoldment of life. That is the passage to my true home, which can never ever be taken away from me, no matter even if I lose the four walls that I call home. So one has to actually begin this beautiful friendship with oneself. And in only the more and more we allow ourselves to be friends with our own movements, the more we see that we are able to connect deeply at a deeper level to the universe all around. Else there is a separate universe and there is a separate me. There is always a separation that exists. So it's really beautiful that I need not even, I did not even need to go and connect with anybody else. I just allowed myself to soak in that experience. And through that, I connected, I universalized as if to more and more people. Because we are actually one. Anger is as much yours as mine. There is nothing personal about anger. Grief, sadness, pain is as much yours as mine. There's nothing personal about it. So again, up to us, do we want to allow this to happen? Do we want to allow this magic to unfold in our life? Allow this feeling of helplessness. We feel so helpless at times. What do I do? Where do I go? I feel so lost. And the moment I allow that helplessness to stay, something changes. Some magic happens. As if that running has stopped. As if a seeking, a yearning, a wanting to be somewhere else has stopped. Maybe for a while, but it stops. Yes. Kabir says, Pani mein meen pyasi, mohe sun sun aave hansi. He says, I see that the fish in the water remains thirsty. और मुझे ये देख देख के इतनी हंसी आती है. So the home is available to us right now. Each moment is a welcoming invitation to home. And yet, I keep on feeling abandoned forever in my life. this thirst can be quenched only when I allow life's present to unfold, to unmask each moment. No concepts can ever take my thirst away. They may give me a temporary relief. I may find a temporary relief in concepts and definitions. Yes, we do that. Yet we see that it's only temporary again. So can I become comfortable, deeply comfortable in this uncertainty of life? Can I allow myself to be comfortable in the discomfort of life? And then an unfolding begins. And the unfolding was even happening earlier also, but I was absent. The moment I become available, I become a witness to this continuous unfolding of life. Yes. So do we want to allow this to happen? Because without our participation, nothing will move. This is a continuing experiment that I have to, start, if not already. Continuing experiment, because there are so many colors to life. Just as we say Paramatma is infinite, life also brings infinite number of experiences. One can never say I have tasted all colors of life. Never ever. Never ever. Then becomes available this richness of life, which we try to find in our festivals, in our celebrations. Then becomes available this newness of life, which we try to find by wearing new clothes, by changing new houses, by changing new locations, new jobs. This newness of life then becomes available each moment. So what do we want to do? The matter is turned every time towards me. The tables are turned towards me each moment. And I may fall into a dream again, yet again. And yet again, I will have a chance to wake up from the dream and be in the experience fully. See that all what I am feeling now, there is nothing wrong about those feelings. They are all allowed. They all have something for me, some gift for me. Allow that unfolding to happen. They tell more and more about ourselves. They tell more and more. They uncover deeper layers of ourselves. As you were saying, someone of you earlier mentioned. And there is so much depth in this home that is me, that it is never ending depth. It is a never ending depth. So I'll be entertained forever. Even when shame comes, guilt comes, the moment I become available to shame, the moment I become aware of what is this shame, what is this guilt, can I allow it to be there? Something happens which is undescribable. That is what is referred to as jagana. To awaken to whatever life is in this moment right now. Jaag sake to jaag. Not trying to shoo it away, because when I am trying to shoo it away, then I am not living, a dream is living itself, right? Because I am living a concept out. The concept is living itself out. I have read somewhere that shame is bad, and now when shame is present, I am not available to witness it. I am just trying to resist the shame because I heard somewhere that it's not allowed. And in that, I miss the magic. Yes. So what we have to do is we just have to get out of the way. We just have to get out of the way. All the feelings, all the movements of life are deeply, deeply intelligent movements. I just have to be aware of whatever is going on. I have to get out of the way. Let the unfolding happen. Not act as an obstacle on the way of this unfolding. Saying that, no, you are not allowed. And then each experience has the power to get me in touch with a deeper reality which so far was hidden from me. So like this, we keep on unfolding layers and layers of ourselves. Newness each moment. As if I am rediscovering, unearthing myself each alive moment. Beautiful. This is beauty of life. And here everything is welcome. Here all is welcome. Pain, sadness, grief, shame, guilt, all the crime. The moment I become aware of the crime, the quality of life changes. It's not as same as when I was doing the crime in a robotic, mechanical mode. But one has to try it for oneself. Without awareness, it's a lost game. With awareness, we never lost the game. We can never lose the game, actually. The only thing is, time and again, it is told, and we human beings have a limited lifespan. And the universe wants us to experience this richness. And through this richness only, we allow ourselves to evolve. Otherwise, we are stuck in an image of myself, that, okay, I am this person and this is who I am. So we are stuck as if a table has been made from wood, which was tree earlier. And now this remains a table forever in this life. While if we look at a river or a tree, it may appear that it's a defined definition, yet so much is vibrantly alive, so much is changing each moment. So what do we want to be? A piece of wood or an alive river and an alive tree and an alive human being? Allowing himself, herself to evolve through all that is thrown at us from life. All the gifts that are thrown to us, to take a taste of it and let it be as long as it wants. Yes. Yeah. Yes, so I think I've done enough talking today. Just a little prayer for us to be alive each moment, to take the gifts of life as they come, and to keep on reaching our own home through those gifts only. There is no other way. The way is right here in front of us, with us in this very moment. There is nowhere to run. Yes. So I welcome any comments, if anything, and if not, I think we can call it a day then. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Yeah.